Over the last couple of years, I have done my absolute best to make people aware of what was happening across the English Channel. I did it because as the small boats began to arrive in larger and larger numbers, I noticed that mainstream media weren't talking about it. Well, they are now. In 2019, 1,843 people were recorded crossing the English Channel and taken in by the authorities. In 2020, that figure leapt to 8,466. Last year, the figure was revised upwards and it was 28,526. And so far, this year, it's 4,555, which is 3 times the number that had crossed the Channel at this stage last year. It's impossible, really, to put a number on how many will cross this year, but it's not difficult to say. It could well be between 50 and 100,000 people. Why does it matter that so many, and about 90%, are young men? Why does it matter that so many young men without documentation are crossing the Channel? Well, it matters for reasons of cost. It matters because of the crisis of housing. It matters because of the grounds of national security. But it matters because particularly conservative voters, and especially those conservative voters in red wall seats, are furious. They thought voting Brexit, they thought voting Boris Johnson in 2019 meant getting back control of our borders, not, frankly, being walked all over by criminal trafficking gangs. And so an idea that's been doing the rounds for some time now looks to be very, very close to fruition. It may well be agreed in Cabinet tomorrow. And it is the concept of offshore processing. So somebody arrives, is picked up in the English Channel, taken into the processing centre at Dover, and then would be flown off to Rwanda, where they would be processed. What are the upsides of doing that? Well, I guess one upside is to show the country that something is being done. The other upside is it may well act as a disincentive for people to pay 3,000, 5,000 euros to a trafficker if they think they're going to finish up in Rwanda. What are the downsides of this? One, it will cost a very, very great deal of money. And two, there is a risk that large numbers of people being held in a country like Rwanda will actually be held in conditions that we don't find acceptable, that many international observers begin to condemn, and we see cases of exploitation and abuse. That is the biggest risk on the downside. That is why the Australians, having started with offshore processing, in the end dropped it. But I guess if you're Priti Patel, what else can you do? All the while we're signed up to the European Convention on Human Rights, sending people straight back to France simply isn't an option. This is being done because there's nothing else they can think of to do.